Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I'll be teaching you how to sew the Celestial Church of Christ Choir Master Cape, and you can also use the same method for the Assistant Choir Master Cape. So I folded the material into two like this. So I just want to show you how I folded it. So I'm using this material for the tutorial today. This is the tip of the material. Then you can see I want it to be straight. I just want to follow the pattern. So if you're using something different, it's fine. As for the length, I used 46 because the person is very tall, but I would advise you use like a shorter length, maybe 42. It depends on the length of the person, but this person is very tall, so it's 46, but you can use 42. So I came down by 8 inches because I'll be adding yellow to the upper part here, so that's why I came down by 8 inches. So I'm adding ½ inch for the sewing allowance. So that's the ½ inch I just added now for the sewing allowance. Then I'm using my French curve to get a straight line. Then I want to measure the wideness. I made the wideness 27 inches, so altogether will give me 3 yards for the wideness. 3 yards, so that's 27 inches. The next thing I did was cut it out. So this part, that's the armhole part, so I'll be minusing the armhole. So this is the 8 inches that I measured before. That's what I chalked out now. Then I came down by 10 inches. I made the armhole 10 inches. So I'll be gathering this upper part. Yes, I'm going to give it a gathers. So I made the wideness, this wideness 4½ inches. That's for the armhole. So that's 4½ inches that I just chalked. Then I curved it and cut it out. So after cutting it out, I want to make the gathers. So these gathers, I made it 8 inches. Like everything has to be 8 inches. So whatever I'm gathering, so that's times 2. You know it's folded into 2. So this is 8 inches. So now I'll be using this front to trace the back out. So what I did here was just trace out the back. That's it. I cut it exactly as I cut the front. So this is the yellow material that I'll be adding to the upper part. I folded it into 2 like this. So now I'll be measuring the length. The length is 8 inches. So this is the 8 inches that I'm measuring right now. Then I'll add ½ inch to it. So I measured 8½ there, not 8 inches. So I already added the ½ inch. So this is 7½ for the shoulder. That's 15 inches divided by 2. But I added ½ inch and made it 16 inches. That's 8 inches. Divided into 2 give me 8 inches. So this down part is 8 inches, but I added ½ inch sewing allowance and it gave me 8½ inches. So I gave it like a slant, not straight. The down part is 8½ while the upper part is 8 inches. That's the shoulder part, is the upper part. So the wideness of the neck is 3½ inches. Then I came down by 5 inches. I used my French curve to get a perfect circle for the neck. So this yellow part, I'll be cutting out two of this fabric, one for the front and one for the back. So before I continue the cutting, I came down by the shoulder. That's 1 inch. I came down by 1 inch. So I gave it a slope. That's the shoulder slope. Then I cut it out. So I placed it on the yellow fabric and just traced the back out. So I'm cutting 2 of it. So I cut out net. That's the exact same size. I just traced it out and cut out this net, 2 of it. So it's net I'll be using to line the upper part. So this is the down part. So this down part I made it 3 yards for the wideness too. So that's 54 inches that I measured, and I added 2 inches to it. 54 inches is 1.5 yards, so that's 2 of it. So this one I'll be placing it at the down part. So it's going to have yellow at the down and yellow at the upper part. So every other thing is blue. The hand and the body is blue. Only the upper part and the down part is going to have this yellow. So I folded it into 2 like this. Then I made the wideness 3.5 inches. So after cutting it out, I have 7 inches. This is the 7 inches for the wideness of the down part. So now I'm cutting the sleeve. I folded this into 4 places. Like I first folded it into 2, and now I'm folding it into 4. So I also want to show you how I did it. So I made the wideness of the sleeve 15 inches. So I'm chalking it out all round. So this band sleeve, I chalked out 2 inches. So this 2 inches is going to be like the band on the sleeve. That's the down of the sleeve. So I folded 2 inches in. Then I made the length of the sleeve 21 inches. So that's the length of the sleeve. So I'm just doing a straight line. So I had to use my French curve to get the straight line very well. Then this part, that's the armhole part, I came down by 6 inches. I wanted to come down by 5, but I realized it's going to have pleating. So it's going to have like gathers at the upper part. So that's why I came down by 6 inches. Then I curved it to the upper part. So this is the part that I said is going to have the gathered part. So from that part, 5 inches, that's where I came down. So that's 6 inches that I measured in the armhole. So in case you don't know how to curve it, you can use your French curve. Then I cut it out. So after cutting out, I had to notch that 2 inches that I measured. Then I notched the upper part too. So I had to measure it all around. After measuring it, I got 16.5 inches. But what I needed was 11 or 12 inches round. So I'll be gathering some parts. So it's going to reduce to that 11 or 12 inches that I need. So because this sleeve is going to be wide, so I had to make it 12 inches. So this is the 12 inches that I just chalked, but I'll be gathering it to the 7 inches. I'll gather into that 7 inches. So since it's 12 inches I needed, that means the 7 inches, all the gathers had to be 5 inches, so that it should be 12 inches at the end of the day. So I had to notch that 7 inches. So the remaining upper part, I would gather it and make it 5 inches. Now, sewing time. So this is the armhole. This is the upper part of the cloth. So what I want to do is I want to gather the upper part of the cloth. Please, this is the part where I need you to like this video and to share. Please share and encourage others to watch this video. Thank you so much. So I did the same thing to the other part too. Then I had to gather it. So while gathering it, the thing had to cut. It was frustrating, but I needed to continue. So I had to resew that part, but I didn't show it. Then I had to gather it again. So just take your time in this gathering, which was what I did. So after gathering it, I had to measure it just to be sure before I top stitch. So I got 17 inches, that's 8.5 if I fold it into 2. So I had to stop and top stitch on it. So I had to pick it. You just have to calm down doing this. It's one side must not be fuller than the other side. It has to be on the same level. So after top stitching, I had to do the same thing on the other side too. So this other side, I measured it, but it was smaller. I had to release the gathers because what I needed was 17 inches. Then I had to top stitch on it again too. So don't forget, this is the upper part that I just gathered. This is the armhole, and this is the second armhole. So this is the part that I just gathered now. So now I want to do the sleeve too. So remember, I measured 7 inches from the armhole. So this part that I am touching right now, to this part I'll be measuring 5 inches to this place, then 5 inches to this place. So all the gathers on the sleeve is 10 inches, so that it has to be accurate. The measurements must not differ, it must be the same. So I had to gather the second sleeve too. So I'm trying to measure it to see if the measurement is accurate before I top stitch on it. So some parts looks fuller than some parts, so I had to set it very well so that it will be on the same level. Then I did the same thing to the other sleeve too. So after top stitching, what I did next was fold the band of the sleeve. So this is the 2 inches I'm folding right now. So from that notched part, that's where I folded it in. So I did the same to the other sleeve too. So this part, I'm adding the net to the upper part. So I'll be using the net to like line it the net will not be obvious on the cloth. It will rhyme with the clothes. That's why I had to use net. Then I did the same to the other parts of the yellow clothes. So I had to notch the neck part. So this neck part, I just wanted it to be very neat. That's this sewing part. So I had to cut it. I had to reduce all those cutting. So I packed all the excess sewing under the net. So I'm top stitching on the net, not the main fabric. I'm top stitching on the net so that it will lay neatly. So I just did the same to the other part, that's the back part. So this part, I just want to lay it very well before I sew it down. I just want to lay it neatly because it has to rhyme. The net has to rhyme with the main fabric. So after trimming all the excesses away, I had to place the down parts on the front parts like this. Then I'll sew it down. So as I'm sewing it, I'm laying it down neatly. I don't want one part to be more than the other parts, so I'm just trying to lay it down neatly. So just take your time doing this. After I was done, this is what I have. This is what it's going to look like after you are done joining the two sides. So I've also did the same thing to the other side, that's the front and the back. Then I'm placing it on each other, so the two faces will be facing each other. So this shoulder part, the front part, that's the one I'm holding right now. Then the back part is the one I opened. So I'll just open it and place the front part in the middle of the back part. So that's how I join the shoulder. When you are sewing this shoulder, make sure you pick all the 4 materials, the 4 pieces, because at times it has happened to me in the past. I would end up sewing 3, then realize that I didn't pick the 4th one. Then I'll start losing again and sew it again. So just be careful of that place. So I'm going to do the same to the other side too. So after sewing it, this is what it's going to look like. And I opened it. So that's how the inside is going to look like, and this is how the outside part is going to look like. So this part, it has to be neat. It must not be twisting or anything. It has to be neat. So I had to trim this part out. It was too long, so I had to trim it out so that it will just be exactly what I need. So now I'll be joining the sleeve. So I'm trying to get the middle of the sleeve. You know, I gathered it, so I'm trying to like get the middle, which I notched earlier. So I just place the middle, so both faces will be facing each other, the face of the sleeve and the face of the main body. So I like picking it from the middle. So that if it is longer than each other at the beginning here, I'll be able to adjust it if there is need for adjustment. But this fabric is stretchy, although it's a little bit longer than each other, but I ended up placing it on the same level. So just try and pick your pleats too, the gathers. Try and pick the gathers of the sleeve too, like what I'm doing now. So I'm trying to set it. Okay guys, so after sewing it, this is what I have. So this is what the sleeve part is going to look like. Yeah, so this is the shoulder part. So I also want to show you how it's going to look like after sewing. So this is how it's going to look like. That's just what I want to try to show you. So now I'll be joining it from the sleeve part. So I'm facing it to the back, to the inside. Then I'll join it straight down. So I also take in 1 inch. So it's that 1 inch that I'll follow straight down. So after sewing it, I would be joining the down part. That's the band, the yellow band that will be at the down. So I'll first join it before I join the other part. That's the other side of the cloth. Before I join it, I'll first add the down part all round. So after I was done with it, I had to sew the other part too. So I took in 1 inch, just like I did to the first part. So I had to hold this other part too in by 1 inch straight down. So please don't forget to weave your clothes. It is very important. Weave all the inside and give it a neat finishing. Then ironing and packaging. By the grace of God, I'll be posting how to package your sutana too, how you can package it, but with time though, I would do that too. So if there's any question you want to ask me in the comment section, please go ahead and ask me, and I'll give you the answer. So thank you so much guys for watching today's video. You have come to the end of the tutorial. Don't forget to share this video and let other people to learn from this tutorial. Please guys, let people learn. This is a free word. So that's it. This is how the upper part is going to look like from the inside. So if you watched this video to the end, thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Love you guys.